message to me. She said this one devotee watched one of my videos. He's into Vaidhi Bhakti like most persons. Yeah. And he watched my videos. He said he agreed with everything I said, but then some devotee comes up to him and convinced him that I'm a Sahajiya. See? He agreed with everything I said, but yet somebody comes up and convinces him that I'm a Sahajiya. And so I just wanted to share what I realized about this Sahajiya stuff. And this is Revelations, and it makes a lot of sense. And I guess I should have did this a long time ago, because I'd want to know too if I'm a Sahajiya. I had to learn through a lot of experiences some of these things. Okay, and so one of them, I'll give you an example. I went to my ex-wife and I went to Narayan Raj, and she asked. She went personally and asked him, "Does Gaurahari Dasa have real bhakti?" And he says, "Well, it's shadow bhakti. It's not very good. See, it's shadow bhakti." And so, and I actually sort of believed that, because at that point I was new. I had the order from Prabhupada to actually act as guru, and Krishna's also blessing, saying that one of my second disciples got darshan of Krishna because of her guru, which was me. Yeah? So I started to get really hit with some high-level obstacles, So anyway, this was this thing. So he said, he took one of my disciples, believed him, said, "Oh, well, then I'll go for the real thing," which she never got, and she ended up leaving him, and still bouncing around places. So anyway, he said shadow, and so anyway, I just took it superficially, and I think a lot of devotees do. You just take these concepts, oh, that's shadow or it's Sahajiya, and never go deeply into question like, okay, well, what is that? And so anyway, later on I did, and in Prabhupada's book, in Nectar Devotion, it says shadow bhakti, and there's shadow and para attachment. Okay, so one relation to that could be, if I get some shadow bhakti or para attachment, but I'm not really a pure devotee, it's not like generated from my ecstatic relationship with Krishna, my real awakened, genuine relationship, then it's called shadow. So, because shadow bhakti is, I'm in the presence of a pure devotee, and by associating in that sadhu sangha, I get the moon-like rays that are coming from that devotee. Okay, so I was already preaching. I've never met a living ecstatic devotee that I can say is really there. Even though people say they're there, and they say they're there, or indirectly say, and all that, I've not met one. So I've been alone and started my preaching. And I had this ecstatic relationship from the very beginning. I just picked up Prabhupada's books and even the Bible, and I had the ecstatic awakening. Right? But it's so rare. It says 1 out of millions of devotees, of Vaishnavas, have this kind of ecstasy. I mean, it's very, very rare. Prabhupada said, those who really know Krishna, that's actually pure devotee, pure devotional service. It's like going into outer space, you find a log floating up there somewhere. Okay? So you find a log. So anyway, so Narayan Raj said, I'm just telling you the truth, this is honest. These are actual experiences. And so my student left, my disciple, said, okay, it's not the real thing. Okay, so, and anyway, later on I found out, so now think about this logically. Here I'm worshiping with no actual pure devotee I had any contact with other than the books, and the mantra. And I was chanting, and for a long time an ecstatic devotion was awakening, what I would consider ecstatic devotion. Of course the world is like wondering, is this real, or is this Sahajiya, or what is it? So anyway, this is awakening, and then Prabhupada comes and gives me the order to continue on, and it has approval. This was in a lucid dream, very lucid and very clear, and I still remember every detail of it, every little single detail of it. It was so vivid. I woke up like right away, from that dream, where he said, I was preaching. I was just started to preach this, where people were asking me to give class on Chaitanya Bhagavat, and then people were getting ecstatic, literally. And so he said, yes, you're doing exactly what I want you to do. This has my approval. You do more of this. Okay? And then Krishna came to my second disciple and said, this is happening. You get my darshan because of your guru. See? And she was only there a few days. It was a miraculous thing. So this has started like this. So now, Sahajiya is, if you got the living presence, as a living presence of an advanced devotee, which are very, very rare, 1 out of millions, that has actually engaged in pure devotional, ecstatic worship of Krishna, then you may get that reflection from the moonlight rays from their heart. I never had that. So that was completely wrong. It was not even a person actually, and Narayan Raj never knew what I was doing. He never knew what I did in anything. He just assumed or just said that, and then took one of my disciples and reinitiated her. Okay? So you see, it's not so easy to understand. I had to go through, I finally figured it out. So Sahajiya would be, is I get the moonlight rays. That's one definite. Well, I'm going to show you different definitions of practical understanding of what a Sahajiya is, and you'll understand why. Okay? So one definition of Sahajiya is, I could be getting these moonlight rays coming from a pure devotee, and this happened with Prabhupada. I already heard stories. Those who were close to Prabhupada, they were getting this moonlight rays, actually, and they thought they were now advanced devotees, but they were getting shadow attachment. Par is another thing. We'll talk about that too. Okay, so they're getting the moonlight rays, and they thought they were advanced devotees. And Prabhupada disappeared and said, "Well, we're pure devotees. Let's put our seats up and everything." So I heard that. They actually did that, and then they found it died. See, it started to diminish in time. See, because they were only getting par. Just like I had one disciple here who turned on me and is contaminated with the same kind of thing, wanting to be equal with Guru, and now trying to get me to apologize to her because I what do you call, offended her and all that stuff, which is not devotional. That, if I'm chastising a disciple and they say like that, that means they want to be Guru, they're a wannabe thing, and that's an example of shadow attachment. That'll dwindle down just like it did with Prabhupada's disciples, and they're left with like nothing. See? So, and that's how you know shadow. They're not purified. See, they're not purified intelligence. You never do that to a bona fide guru. My ex-wife is the same thing. She came and got some shadow attachment, see, from the moonlight rays, and then tried to criticize her guru, criticize me and say, try to teach me, just like this person trying to teach me. Took one of my students away also. See, this is always this thing. This is not purified. See, now that's an example of shadow. See, first it seemed like there was some faith in there in Guru, okay? But then it goes into the other one. See, we have practical examples of everything that you read about in the book. Everything is here. I tell you from my own experience. That in itself shows you this is not Sahajiya. How can I talk about this? How can I tell you what those persons who say, oh, Gaurahari is a Sahajiya, and they have no evidence and they have no understanding, no practical experience of these things. And here I'm telling you what actually happens and showing you logically, clearly, by the book and by personal experience. Okay? So it goes into para attachment when you go and do that. As soon as you criticize your guru, try to instruct your guru, who is giving you real bhakti, okay, real devotional awakening. As soon as you do that, it goes into not shadow now, which is good because it's destroying many things like that. It goes into para attachment, mayavad, wanting to be equal with God, which shows up trying to be equal and competitive with guru. See? Wanting to be equal with God is a competition thing, subtly. See? Oh, I'm equal to God. Are you really? No, you're trying to compete with God? Well, you show that contamination as para attachment and that is like that, and because there's that competitive nature, and that means you want an equal relationship with God and Guru. See, it's not full realization. It's very not good. Okay, so there you go. I explained something that I haven't finished yet. I explained something that no Sahajiya could actually know. I explained something that Prabhupada touched upon and took it further by practical experience. I proved something that actually somebody who's considered or being considered as the Yuga successor and Acharya for the millennium, that he did something that was a big mistake, which disqualifies him. And I just show by my example, what is this? You said this was shadow? What kind of shadow is this? I show you that. Where is the moonlight rays I was getting from a living devotee? There were none. Zero. And I was in ecstasy every day. Disciples were coming and all this. And this said, oh no, here, go away from him. I'll take you two, your two disciples are here. I'll just grab them. See? Because that's not real bhakti. Oh, well, I've learned over the years this is real bhakti, and probably the only real bhakti here. Okay? So there's that point. Okay? Sahaja would be to put if I was shadow, to say, now I'm a bona fide guru and I can deliver you. Okay? So we'll go more deeply into that. Okay? So that's not shadow there. Okay? So one form of that sahaja would be to say that I'm actually guru now when I'm just getting the moonlight rays from a living guru, or from a living devotee. Well, that's one of my disciples who just left. They're always going to be like that. Madhavinda Puri had an example. Ramachandra Puri did the same thing. He went to try to instruct his disciple right there in Chaitanya Charitamrita. See, as I said this morning, we have the map, cell phone map of the Leela, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay? So he tried to instruct his own guru. See, she tried to instruct a guru. This Lalita. My ex-wife, same thing. Try to instruct the guru. They're following the path of Ramachandra Puri. We know that's not the right path on the map. The right path is Ishvara Puri. Ishvara Puri always served his guru with love, surrender, submission, and dedication. See? They're following a different path. And that's fine. By destiny, these things happen. But people got to know that that's not the real path. See? Another reason that this cannot be sahaja. Because how can I know these things? How can I explain these things like this? How can I explain that exactly as it is in the book, that path, the difference between Ramachandra Puri, who challenged and instructed his guru, his bona fide guru, was different than Ishvara Puri. How can I discern? If I was a sahaja and I was putting chili in my eyes and laughing and putting on a big friggin' act, how can I be so conclusive? How can this person have the right understanding? See? Couldn't be. That's sahaja. If I was just putting on an act and taking things cheaply and all these things, how can I be conclusive? How can I tell the devotees that the essence of the real Guru Tattva, is to those who worship Krishna with loving ecstasy, like that verse says, exactly as it is. To them I give them the right understanding. And I'm just delivering you that understanding that I get from years and years, and probably before that, of ecstatic worship. Showing to be genuine without a living devotee in my presence, because they're so rare I couldn't find one. They're all saying that, Narayan Maharaj saying, I'm the Yuga avatar for the next millennium, and he goes and says, Gaurahari, you don't have genuine ecstasy because he's got shadow attachment, and he was wrong. He was wrong. Not that, it just is what it is. I'm sorry, I'm not impressed with that. You should be telling people what's really in Prabhupada's books if you're the Yuga Acharya for the next millennium. And why didn't you even look to see what I was doing, and you didn't even listen or anybody? This is what's going on here. A lot of, this type of thing. Okay? All right, so far, Pew, there's no sahaja thing here. Okay? That's another thing. If I'm really worshiping Krishna with loving ecstasy, if it's really true, like the book says, Bhagavad-Gita 10:10, okay? And I'm getting the right understanding, and I'm delivering it to you, and you're looking at this and saying, well, that does make sense. It's very logical, very clear, and it's according to the book. My God, you can all check it, and then you can go to Prabhupada's book, you see para, shadow, you see exactly what I'm saying with a clearer, more precise understanding now. Okay? Even Jesus said the mark of a prophet is a real bona fide spiritual master, one that fits the definition of Prabhupada said, is a divine medium, and Krishna speaks through that person. That's a real prophet. That's a real acharya. That's a real spiritual master. The mark of those persons, see, it's always the same thing, same truth. The mark of one of those kind of persons is they take what has been written before, see, the revealed scriptures, and they make it more clear. See, only Krishna working through somebody can do that. See? And also they bring forth new things. And so I'm looking also, is Gaurahari Dasa Sahajiya? Well, God, you're doing that, man. Making things more clear. It gets more clear to me. I know it's getting, my students keep saying, my God, I have, we'll get into so much. One of my students here did Vaidhi Bhakti for 40 years, and she said, my God, it's getting so clear. It's so clear. It's so clear. More clear every day, more clear. I'm also more clear. We're all getting uplifted because that principle's working here. So already I personally, if I see any scent of Sahaja, and if you do too, let me know. Because I know, put it up there. All I know is it gets more clearer. It's everything. Every day it gets more clear. It's been started out clear, gets more clear and more clear and more clear. See? That's the nature of this kind of bhakti when it's real. Okay? It just gets more clear. Okay? So, if another definition, if I'm not worshiping the Lord with genuine loving ecstasy and it's this para bullshit or something, excuse my French, I've said much worse. In Spanish, though. So if I was worshiping the Lord in a fake ecstasy, like some sahaja thing that we don't even define and we don't even not clear about, we just throw that word around, man. Just throw it. Hey, man. Oh, look at Gaurahari's crying. Oh, sahaja. Oh, well, yeah. Why do you say that? Oh, I don't know. I just say it. I see tears, and I remember Prabhupada said, "Oh, if anybody cries for Krishna, oh, they're sahajas." I'm just like that. I'm just a blind believer, Mr. Superficial, Mr. Less Intelligent. So if you listen to those persons like that, what do you expect? You're going to get less intelligent like them because you believe them. It's all who you believe and associate with, man. See? Try to explain things clearly here for you. I don't try, we do. Whether you can understand these things, that's up to destiny. So, again, if I'm really worshiping the Lord in loving ecstasy, and it's the real deal, it's the real branch in the Chaitanya tree, I'm going to get good realization, because it says, to those who worship me with loving ecstasy, Bhagavad-Gita 10:10, I give them the understanding. See? If I have good understanding, I'm giving you my conclusions from this kind of worship, because it's very controversial. We don't see it anywhere. And everybody that claims to have it, oh, we don't show it because the Goswamis never showed it, and it's offensive to do that. And you see, it says you're not supposed to cry before the deities in regular devotion. See, we have all this, so we don't show, we don't know. So, we keep it in the closet. So nobody knows what it is. Only people started to know what it was when Lord Chaitanya started crying. He went to South India. And he started crying buckets of tears and laughing like a madman. See? And he gave the potency to whoever abandoned their opinions that it was Sahajiya or whatever's in the way. And they just accepted that path of ecstatic love and chanted Hare Krishna in ecstasy. See? Now, again, is Gaurahari Dasa Sahajiya Now, because he's doing this, so now, okay, well, he's crying and all this, and he's delivering his opinions. Maybe that's not enough for us. Maybe we need to know more clearly, because he's just one person. Maybe he's just crazy, and his ideas that we can't understand them, and that's, not surprising. It says in chapter 23 of Madhya Lila, on the instruction of love of God, even the greatest scholars can't understand a person who relishes ecstatic love of God. So that's not surprising. I have scholars, yesterday just came to a scholar who had been a devotee for years, and I gave him my answers, and he said, boy, why don't you answer my questions? I said, boy, you can't understand. Oh, well, it's not surprising, because the verse even says that, and my experience shows that. Okay? The ones that seem to understand out of the Vaidhi community are those who they're just like Johann. He was really wanting Radha and Krishna relationship, but he was not chanting in ecstasy, not tasting the mantra, not tasting the pastimes. See? So his heart brought him here. Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, brought him here. And this other lady, Janaki, she's watching now. She was 40 years of Vaidhi Bhakti, and she's chanting 16 rounds religiously. Johann also, Akadasis, 25 rounds, going by the book, man. And still, when am I going to get the real thing? Not enough for me just to follow the rules, and to have just tasting or chanting the name without the taste of bhakti, devotion. Yeah? It's not enough just to have this knowledge that I'm not really understanding, but it's kind of nice to be with Prabhupada and his books. I have faith in that, but little. See? So another reason, if I was just a Sahajiya, why are people, and not only her, Meena also, why are people coming to me and after 25, 40, and 50 years who've been really looking, I want this thing that I was starting to get with Prabhupada, and I'm not satisfied fully with this Vaidhi thing, and just doing rules for rules and have empty chanting, and I'm just not satisfied enough. I want something more. Why are they telling me now, Johann, if Mr. Gaurahari Das, why would he attract persons like Johann, Janaki, and Meena, who were not attracted by real Sahajas? You know what a real Sahaja is? I'll tell you, you guys are often supporting Sahajas every day. And I'll just tell you how you do it. If there's a guru there, and they say, bow down to me, bow down, give me your obeisances, and they say either I can deliver you or somebody else can deliver, Prabhupada will deliver you, but give me the bows. See, that's Sahaja. Because according to the book, if you're interested in real Krishna consciousness beyond the modes of goodness, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, only Shuddha Bhaktas should be worshipped. And if you're worshipping a person that is not a Shuddha Bhakta, you're not up to snuff in your understanding. Because Bhagavatam, Bali Maharaj had even a spiritual master who could raise the dead. But he was adverse, the spiritual master was adverse to Shuddha Bhakta, above the mode of goodness. And Bali Maharaj left him. He left him because that guru was adverse to Shuddha Bhakti. See? That person was acting like a deliverer, and Bali Maharaj realized he can't deliver me. See? I need to associate with a Shuddha Bhakta. That was Vamanadev. Let me follow his order. See? Let me take his shelter. See? You think this is the understanding of a Sahaja? No, this is an understanding of the real thing. I had to figure it out, man. I had to go to the Sahajas. Anybody who says, I can deliver you but can't do it. They can't go beyond speculation. They commit offenses to pure devotees. Pure devotee is somebody who has this potency. That's it. I never go around and say, look at me, I'm a pure devotee because I got a nice dhoti or have straight tilak, or I've studied the Vedas and memorized all these verses. I haven't done any of that. I don't do any of that. See? I say there is pure devotion in this body, man. Because that's what I live on, man. This pure devotion has its symptoms. Not that I'm anything special. Well, what's in me is special, but this is just a body, man. That's what pure devotion does if it's living in your body. It burns away your identification. You realize, hey man, this is just like a flute. Yeah? The life of this body is the spirit. The spirit is what's talking to you, man. This spirit comes like it does after so many years in this life, not this many lifetimes, had to be, of worshiping the Lord in this ecstatic mood. It just burns away all the coverings and all identifications. I know things like that people can't even, they think they got their own heart. I don't have my own heart. This heart here is this ecstatic devotion, it burns away the coverings where you see what's going on in there, man. I see that I'm here to please Krishna, and he's right there in the heart. That's my job, and that gives me the greatest happiness. Okay? That's what real ecstatic worship does. And I'm looking at this for so many years. What are the symptoms if this is Sahajiya? Sahajiya would be, that's not happening. Sahajiya is you don't see that you're here to please Krishna. And acted in this world where the bulk of your time is in pleasing Krishna by chanting his name, going on Sankirtan, and because you want to, because it's so fun to please Krishna. Giving classes, talking about the truth, raising up Shuddha Bhakti, man. Like now, teaching people what is real Sahaja and what isn't. By your own experience and by the book, by the action and showing people that how it really is, what a real guru is. They fit the book. The real guru is they take the concepts of Bhagavat. See? Chapter 1, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Verse 98 through 100. I know a few verses, important ones. Okay? 98 through 100. The real devotee is absorbed in the mellows of devotion. See? Mellows of devotion. You have this loving ecstatic worship. See? And by the action of such a devotee absorbed in genuine ecstatic mellows, and the book Bhagavat, which we have, Prabhupada's books, no need to write a bunch of other books. You can just take what's already in there and just bam, bam, maya, man. Take a club and just knock the heck out of the illusion, the ignorance. People don't even know Guru Tattva and their gurus. Why? Because they're Sahajas. Sahaja is to say that you can deliver your disciples, and you say, well, I don't say that. I say, Prabhupada. Yeah, well, why are you taking the bows, man? Why are you taking the money? Why are you taking all their energy and time? See? You're the ones, you're by your actions, you're acting on a level of hypocrisy. You're caught up in some obstacle. See? If you're genuine devotee, then you've overcome hypocrisy. You can see things clearly. You can say, I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. The rain is all of this rain of illusions, rains of putanas, trinavarta, speculation and stuff like that. You see clearly, man, hey man, what is this thing? You're taking the bows and the word, oh Gurudev and all that, and then you charge it to Prabhupada. Isn't that one of the concepts of ISKCON? Isn't it? I say that's bogus. Yeah, I'm going to go up on the roof because the signal will be better up there. Okay, signal will be better there. Okay, just bear with me for a minute here. See, only by the engagement in pure devotional service do these things get clear. So you get a clear understanding, and that's what you share. What I share with the devotees is what I've ascertained for all these years of ecstatic worship. And so, it's unfortunate that people just, and that's the problem, is there are so many neophytes out there. They don't even know what ecstatic worship is. They can't evaluate these things, and they go and throw these terms Sahaja and everything around, and people believe them because they're neophytes trying to get off that platform. So they're more forceful, they try to be pretty forceful here if you get close. See, they come in force. Oh, he's Sahaja, man. They go, people are still weak. But the truth will set you free. See, the truth is, hey, man, we do the job here. So again, if Gaurahari Das is such a Sahaja, now these people 40 years, 25 years, 50 years in Vaidhi Bhakti, seriously. Why is Krishna sending? Because he wants to help a lot of other ones through them. Okay? There. Now we got our visible example. See, when the fruits of love of God manifest, see, the first fructification of love of Godhead is this love of Godhead itself. See, so Johan here, we're doing classes every day. He says, oh, this is such a good thing, man. For 25 years I followed strictly. Now I have taste for the name. I was like a cow chewing the name, but no juice was coming. But now I go to Gaurahari Das, who cries and laughs in ecstasy and gives these great classes. They're good, man. They got to be. Hey, if I don't think they're good, why should you? Or you want false humility out there? Oh, a devotee is always humble. You got to go, I know they're great classes, but I got to look like a devotee. So, wait, I don't want to bullshit you guys. I want to be real. Yeah, they're great classes. If I don't like them, you shouldn't either. I watch them over again. I love to see the transcendental potency at work. Yeah, it's just coming through, like a flute, man. So, hey, I'm enjoying the show, and I'm sure those who are on board are enjoying it, unless you're contaminated. You won't like this if you are. Destroys ignorance, and a lot of people, no, my ignorance is the truth. I want to worship that. See, ignorance is, I don't even know what a Sahaja is, but I'll go call a devotee who is sincerely worshiping the Lord and loving the ecstasy. I'll just call them a Sahaja. Why not, man? Everybody else does, and that's why they don't chant like we do here, with such taste and ecstatic love, huh? Yeah. Yeah, so again, Gaurahari Das is Sahaja. Okay, so this guy after 25 years says, my God, man, now I have such taste. And he shows you, stands up boldly and says, oh my God, this is so great. And every day you see a big smile on his face, chanting in ecstasy. So are you sure this is a Sahaja thing? Now this gets transferred, this thing that's supposed to be some shadow thing, this gets transferred to others. Oh, what kind of shadow is that, man? That's pretty good reflection. Reflected here and then you reflect it. But again, that kind of stuff. Okay? So now, you don't know a touchstone. See, Chaitanya Charitamrita says, you don't know a touchstone till you see it works. Okay? So, in Navadvip, at first they called Lord Chaitanya Sahaja. There was a student community like what we're dealing with here. They also say, "Oh, look at this! This is we've never seen this before. It's just like us now." Well, hey, we never seen that. We only read about it. Maybe that was only for 500 years ago. Now it's about being just a big, a normal, grave, just kind of serious person. Oh, it's not about playful Krishna and Vrindavan. Oh, that was 5,000 years. Or playful Lord Chaitanya and the devotees playing like children. No, it's not about that. See? Therefore, Gaurahari and his playful devotees acting so free and self-assured, that must be some Sahaja thing. See, people forgot. They forgot about, this is time. Okay, so another thing, Sahaja, well, why are devotees after 25, 40, and 50 years saying, this is great, man? They should, if this is Sahaja to them, you can ask them, if this is Sahaja, I'm sure they'll say, hey, man, I'm all in. This is much better than what I was doing for 40 years. One lady, Janaki, said she was thinking about suicide. It was not just sit to dryly chant every day and not move to the next platform. My God. Some people, it's like, God, I really came into this life to get Krishna, and I get a bunch of rules, I still can't get them. Is there any other message? Do you see why Prabhupada actually really did come to me? And why Krishna really did appear to the disciple and say, whoever else comes, they're going to get satisfied? Well, it looks like Johan's getting satisfied. Janaki, Meena, saying very good. Others too. You got Rangaleka, you got River, others. Okay. So that in itself, how can a Sahaja inspire real bhakti in others where they're, after 40 years, they're saying, yeah, this is real, man, this is better even than that level. There she goes. There you go, testimony. See, Janaki. She did 40 years, Vaidhi Bhakti, man, strictly chanting 16 rounds. He says, I know in my heart I am pleasing Krishna more here than Vaidhi Bhakti path. And she's kind of like, okay, chant 16, I don't know. She just keeps chanting and the main thing, I teach the deeper principles that are in the book. It's all by the book. And I tell you, perspective, the Vaidhi Bhakti is chanting 16 rounds or even 1 lakh, even 2 lakhs. If you chant 2 lakhs, and you don't take advantage of the mercy here, the book says, if you don't have pure devotional service, or go to the pure devotee to get it like that, quickly, you're following the slower path. And if you die without the devotion that's here, and being passed on to others, then you die and you have to take another birth, or you can't go beyond the demigods, because it's this pure devotion that is our passage to Vrindavan. You have to have the bhav, the devotion. You can't get into these places because all these devotees are there. They have devotion, and if you reject it here, you're going to reject it there. You can't do it there. You got to wash your clothes here, man. All these things got to be dealt with here. That's why the Lord comes here. Why, if the Lord could say, well, we'll wait till you die, and then we'll do it up there in the heavens. Well, it doesn't do that. You got to do that here. You got to taste. You got to purify your clothes, and you need help because the Vaidhi isn't strong enough. Yeah. See, Vaidhi ain't strong enough because people will look. They're coming here now. See, they need to follow the book, which says, Ramananda Roy says, in that conversation with Lord Chaitanya, see, you got to read that, man. And Lord Chaitanya, he rejected Vaidhi as the ultimate way to do this. He said, that's external bhakti, tell me something more, deeper. Okay? And then he said, okay, ultimately, a few more steps up beyond that, different paths. Then he said, okay, just throw out all you think you knew. Abandon your opinions. They don't work. You're not clear. And that's the whole thing with the Vaidhi community. They throw around this Sahaja thing, and they offend the devotional potency trying to express here and teach, see? And cause a block in others. See, that one guy was liking what I was teaching, and he comes across this Vaidhi Bhakti pretending. See, that's a pretender. Again, that's Sahaja. He's actually the Sahaja. He's pretending to be an authority and saying, oh, that's just Sahaja. And so he was the actual Sahaja. Because if I give him a video, and he's saying, yeah, I agree with all these things, okay? I'm acting as a teacher here, as an authority. That's why I'm doing this. Okay? And sharing. Now he comes up and he's saying, no, I'm the authority. He's Sahaja, believe me. And boom, he goes away. That's the neophyte levels like that. It's hard to get off of, because as soon as real bhakti and real teaching begins to manifest, the real Sahajas come out and cry Sahaja. The real Sahajas are these gurus. Is Prabhupada. You know what? Okay, I'll tell you another Sahaja that Prabhupada called. In 1958 in his diary, or a Vyasa Puj thing, he said, all the temples of my guru are manned by Sahajas. Sahajas, these persons who are claiming to be acharyas, and they're changing acharyas 3 times a year, see, because nobody can really be one, unless you are one, empowered. See, they're all manned by Sahajas. See, all these persons with an acharya title, I can deliver you, but they can't, and they're not purified of envy, jealousy, and everything that Prabhupada mentioned. My God brothers, these ones they seem to have these qualities. Not seem, they have these qualities, they act them. Okay? So that's not a qualified, bona fide acharya who can deliver you. If you got envy, jealousy, and all that, you fit in the book. According to the book, there's daksha, the daksha obstacle. You're caught up in that. See? Because you think with envy and jealousy in your heart, which you can't even see anyway, only the real acharya, the real spiritual master can see that envy, and if they wanted to get over it, they had to say, oh, can you help me get over this? Oh, and they would have just they'd be over it like that. But if you resist the truth, you're like Daksha. Daksha could not accept Shiva as the more superior personality in bhakti, had real bhakti. So he fought with him, and he criticized him. He criticized and fought. See, that's what people do that are sahajas. A sahaja is, another form of it is you're on the spiritual master position, so all you could see in ISKCON, and anybody that doesn't have real pure devotional service and has people, devotees bowing down to them, if you can't really deliver them and you don't show the signs of pure devotional service, then you're a sahaja. See? Sahaja, you're acting on a platform that you're not qualified for. See, you can't do the job. See? So a person can say, well, look at you, no dhoti, nothing. Why are you qualified? Because I fit the book. Not I. The Lord is using this vessel. I just tell you why the book is working here, man. Krishna is the book, isn't he? And I say, I'm showing everybody that Krishna book is here. Krishna is working through here because it's just by the book. Yes, it is correct. Here, Lord Chaitanya said the book. Here's the book. I tell you, you can check the verse, man. Yes, it is correct. Those who awaken devotion to Krishna are certainly the spiritual master. There's the qualification. You can come here with confidence, actually, because it's in the book. And they say, Gaurahari, yeah, that's fake and all this. Oh, yeah? Well, okay, those who awaken devotion to Krishna are certainly spiritual master. Look at Johan. You think that's not authentic? If you do, you're contaminated. See? Devotion to Krishna already. And others also. See, it's by the book here. So Krishna is working through this fool. See? So who can say that? Can Narayana say those who awaken? I just see them saying pure bhakti. Let's have a big show of pure bhakti. I just tell you, I want to help them. I want to help. He's dead now. I want to help the disciples if they're helpable. If hey, where is this? Bring your champions. Show us what your example of pure bhakti is. Show us this ecstatic love. Because if it's the real line, there'll be fruits of love of God. If not, then there won't be fruits. Okay? That's why Prabhupada said things like, actually, of my God brothers, none are qualified to be acharya. See? And people are worshipping, but now after he's gone, so many of them. See? Because that's what the Maya does. It competes with the real acharya's opinion. See? And if you believe that, then and that's why people are weak. They just, as soon as they change their opinion, they say, I'm with Prabhupada, then they go and worship the God brothers on the same level, and boom, you're under the illusion. Because if a God brother still has envy and jealousy in the heart, which is hard to see, you got to go with the opinion of the real acharya. See? Then you go to that and you get contaminated. Didn't Prabhupada say you don't listen to their lectures? Again, I'm here not to criticize, but to show the faults. See, if you walk into a fault, in the fault line, you fall down into a crevice of darkness. So I got to show the fault because that's Bhagavatam. The highest truth is reality, what we're speaking about, distinguished from the false, the illusion. Illusion is a fault. So the fault finding I find is different than a person who has not realized Krishna, right? See, I'm finding it for the people's benefit. They're finding it to hide the path because they're in ignorance. They go and say, oh, Gaurahari's a Sahajiya, don't go over there. And they believe them. See, they're too weak to go. They can't. See, they're just projecting their own people. They're all doing that until you realize who Krishna is by tasting an ecstatic worship. You don't know Krishna. You do the wrong things. You're bumping into walls. You're committing Vaishnava aparads. How can? No wonder. I was wondering. The guy's can't be chanting in ecstasy. Oh, all this thing. Look at me, I'm controlling ecstasies and all. So what are you doing? You're showing Rupa Goswami, I'm imitating Rupa Goswami. Look at me, I'm really in ecstasy. I'm looking like this, like a stone, because I want to control, To me, that's the thing that people are accusing me of. Okay? And then by their deeds, they take a couple of my disciples, tell them the wrong understanding that is not really true. What is this? You're not showing me symptoms. I see their best disciples. I'm looking for the ecstatic devotion. I don't see just intellectual stuff. Best, yeah. I'm looking, this is, I'm looking for this, at least something like this or better. I haven't found it. Yeah, so, devotees, to get this level, if you don't want your idols knocked down, you won't be able to come here. Yeah, hey man, I'm telling you my experience, man. I'm not holding back. So, well, I should say this. I'm not sitting on a mental plane. Well, should I say this? I don't know, Just telling you my experience. If you're worshiping an idol that you think is going to deliver you, then you won't like this because, I put all my faith in this idol, man. It's like worshiping the cell phone, man. Oh, my faith, I thought this cell phone was going to deliver me. That was a pure devotee and all that. Well, hey, man, I'm giving you my things. I'm showing life experience, man. Okay, so I think I covered what I wanted to say. So anybody that wants to, this is my conclusion about Sahajiism. And don't be baffled by people, neophytes, who are actually usually if anybody is acting as your authority and saying that they know, Gaurahari's a Sahajiya and everything, and they don't prove and show something, it's just a blind, aggressive statement. Don't do that. That's not intelligent. It's not very smart. I'm giving you my conclusion about it. So evaluate. You go and take that guy who said that Gaurahari is a Sahajiya, and ask him, okay, why, and why do you think this? And you compare it to what I'm saying here and what he says. See whose conclusion is stronger. See whose more is logical, more clear. See? That's how you get out of illusion. It's like you got to see from a clear person, clear perspective. So see who's clear, do the taste test. Listen to this video and then go listen to that person's explanation and say, Gaurahari's a Sahajiya. I'm sure he didn't back it up, say, he might have backed, you see, he did this. In his past he went to Narayan Raj. In his past he went to Jesus. That's why he's a Sahajiya. No, man, that's why I can preach like this. I can help people now. I know when my students go through something, I say, I've been there, done that. I know what you're going through, and this is how you get out of it. That's, but the Sahajiyas, they look at good qualities of getting life experience as a fault. You see, in other words, I'm so great, I never make a fault. I listen to me. I'll tell you what is a Sahajiya and what is the truth. I know so much about bhakti. See, and they don't, and that's Sahajiya. They don't know beans. They never had a steer in their life, and they're so expert on what is a Sahajiya. Isn't that ridiculous? So anyway, give this video to these people like that, who throw this Sahajiya word along and act as your authorities, which means they're the Sahajiya if they're not an authority. Okay? I'm proving this is not a Sahajiya thing because I'm telling you so many things that are by the book. You can all check it and look at it, and even by my life experience. Okay? Alright, so now I'm going to take my walk. Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you for coming and listening. And if you have any comments, leave it in the comment section. Follow us on Facebook Live. Hit the follow button. You know, be the best thing you ever done, because what's coming out of this Sangha is gold, man. And that's why there's all this dirt trying to throw their dirt over the gold, you know, so people can't see it. If you go for that and just, believe in the dirt being thrown over here, then you're not worthy to hear these wonderful things, and that's the test. Okay, thank you, Sachi, for coming. Haribo.